Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the Smith & Wesson R8 Revolver mod, which is being made by user Gary2048. And what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is, well, exactly what the name says. It adds in the Smith & Wesson R8 Revolver, which I actually had to look this up because I didn't know much about this weapon, but apparently it is a direct continuation of the Smith & Wesson Model 27 line of 357 Magnum revolvers, now in the form of the modern M&P R8, which is kinda cool, just a modernized 357 Magnum. I think that's pretty nifty, and the mod itself has a lot of fun modifications, giving you a fun new revolver to play around with in the game. Though I gotta admit, with the modifications involved, it definitely adds more of a sci-fi than a post-apocalyptic vibe to things, but still a very fun revolver to have in the game that I have very much been enjoying. So let's jump on over here and have a look at what exactly we are getting with the R8 Revolver, which in its most standard and basic form will do a 38 damage, by default with a 44 round, with a firing rate of 24, a range of 83, accuracy of 63, and a weight of 3.5, as, you know, pretty expected of a small revolver there. And as you can see, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. I do love all the details on this thing, and like I said earlier, I don't really know much about this revolver IRL, but from the images I was looking up before starting, it certainly looks the part, even has the M&P R8 stamped into the steel right there. A lot of good details all over the place on this gun. Very, very cool indeed. I definitely do like the look and feel of it. Even with the, built-in rail on top. You guys know me, I'm more of a fan of older guns, especially ones with wood, but still, I really do like the blending of old and new with this particular weapon. And again, having it be that continuation of the Model 27 in the modern world, I think, has a fun little harkening back to history bit there for it, which is just pretty cool. And as you can see, it has a ton of different modifications you can adjust on this thing to really help change up the gun to more your specific playstyle, and even add in some fun things like a burst fire mode, which is pretty cool. I do very much like it. Now, as for the ammo over here, the 44, this of course is supposed to be in the real world a 357 Magnum gun, but by default, if you're just using the vanilla download, it's going to of course be the 44 ammunition. But if you do have the munitions patch installed, this will actually have proper free 357 Magnum. So do keep that in mind. Now here's the fun thing though. This isn't the only gun we get, or at least not the only version of the R8 Revolver we get, because we also do have a more Fallout-ified version in the form of the Gaus R8 Revolver, which is, first off, massive, freaking gigantic, and will do 65 damage, again with a 44 round, with a firing rate of 24, range of 215, accuracy of 63, and oddly a lesser weight of just 3, despite this thing being, again, freaking massive. And as you can see here, it is gorgeous. Again, freaking massive though. It's got the whole Gauss attachment up here, which is pretty nifty. I guess the whole idea behind this gun is that it fires the 44 round, or of course again, munitions patch, a 357 Magnum, through the barrel, and then it gets accelerated by this Gauss component attached to the front, which is pretty cool. And I really think one of the most interesting parts, you can't tell in here, but when you're actually firing this thing, the bar that you can hold down to get more Gauss power out of the thing is actually right here on either side of the hammer on the gun, which is kind of a neat way of implementing it. I hadn't seen something like that previously. We usually get just somewhere a typical little bar or counter, but having it blended in with the gun is pretty cool, and I very much did enjoy it. Now, one major downside to this thing, besides it being freaking gigantic, is there are nowhere near as much modifications for this gun as there are with the regular R8, which does make sense because, well, you're not going to have different barrels for this thing, nor different muzzles that you can put on the front of it, because it has to be this gigantic thing for it to be the Gaus Revolver. But yeah, again, though, pretty cool, lots of details on it. I do love the extra details with, like, the electrical warning there. All the wiring is all pretty cool. I like this thing. It's very sci-fi looking, but also very Fallout, and that's just fun. Now, as for how you get your hands on one of these lovely things, well, you'll start finding them in the world at level 25, specifically just the R8 revolver, on gunners, vendors, legendary drops, and pretty much anywhere that the normal 44 pistol in the game may spawn. Now, the Gaus Variant, you'll start finding in all the same things, but at level 35, because, of course, it does have a much higher base damage, the 38 with the R8 revolver compared to the 65 base damage with the Gaus revolver there. So yes, it's going to be a little bit later into your game at level 35, but not too bad. And there is also one singular, unique version of this revolver in the world that you can go out and find, which is pretty cool. And all in all, just a fun little mod. So let's go take a look at what different modifications we do have for both guns. And since the Gaus revolver is less, we'll do that one first, where we've got either the standard receiver, hardened, powerful, advanced, or up to a rapid receiver, which is just gonna, heavily increase that firing rate. Very nice. But that 113 damage on the advanced receiver there is pretty sweet, and that, as usual, is without any additional perks. Throw in some more of those, and oh boy, it's gonna go up there. But that's not all you can up the damage for. We're gonna skip grips for a moment and go to the ammo category, where you can have either the 357 Magnum, a rat shot version, SWC round, hollow point, or spire round, or you can downgrade the thing to a 38. Now, the hollow point's going to give you the highest per shot damage there, going from 65 to 78. And so then you add on top of that the advanced receiver. It can do some pretty freaking sweet damage. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and do both of those for this gun. There we are. Now back to the grip category. We've got a standard, improved redwood, wood, and carbon fiber. And you know me, I like a good mix of metal and wood for my guns, so boom, there we go. A nice wooden hand grip on a Gaus revolver. Lovely. And finally, we have these sights, where we've actually got a pretty good list of standard, glow, a number of different more modern optics in here, getting all the way down to a good little medium scope here, which, not too shabby, especially considering the now 126 power on this thing. I'd say usable. I'm gonna go for this one, though. I like that scope. It's a nice one. Now, as for the R8 revolver, well, we got a few more categories in here. Now, starting with the receiver category, pretty similar to what we had before, standard to advanced, but now we have the burst receiver, which does 2-shot bursts whenever you do fire. And then the barrel category, we've got the standard short, a Medusa, a Taurus, heavy, and a suppressed barrel. Now, if you go with the suppressed barrel, you're going to lose the ability to have any muzzle attachments, and there is a under barrel rail that you'll miss out on too. The suppressed barrel does not allow for either of those, that, muzzle attachments, or the other one being for flashlights and such. Now then, the grip category, again, we got the same thing as with the Gaus one, standard, improved, redwood, wood, and carbon fiber. And then the same ammunitions in here, including the downgrade to the 38, if you so desire. Then the sights, once again, we're going to see the same things, the standard and glow, a variety of modern optics leading down to the medium scope. But then here's where we get the more interesting bits. And this category here is our muzzle. It just starts with none. But then we have a number of different flash hiders, suppressors, etc., compensators. I think the Pew is my favorite, mainly because of the name, but the Erector is a pretty cool looking suppressor. The Cookie, though, is strange. I've never seen a muzzle break like that in real life, and it kind of weirds me out, but I also kind of like it. Now, the next none category is the underbarrel bit, where we have different lasers and flashlights available for you to throw on there, which is always nice to have. And then finally, we have this entirely useless category, which is default and has default. That's it. Don't know why it's there, but it is. And that is it for the modifications. So let me go and grab our modified guns of the standard R8 that I've made over here. And we, of course, did just modify the Gaus one since there wasn't too much to modify there. Let's start with the standard R8 revolver. And there we go. Now, this gun does have both custom sounds and reload animations, which is pretty good. And overall, it's got quite a bit of a kick, but a pretty easily controllable kick to the gun. And just overall is a fun revolver to play with. I do very much like it. The slap to knock out the other rounds, though, kind of fun. I kind of enjoy that. And yeah, even with firing as fast as possible, it's, like I said, very easy control, even with that pretty big kick there to the shot. Now let's go take a look at my, nope, that's the Gaus one. My muzzled one here, where we actually do have the burst receiver on there and the weird cookie. It's just such a strange muzzle attachment there. Ooh, hadn't noticed this. We found a bug. I actually hadn't played with this gun yet. It looks like this particular sight may need perhaps the see-through scopes mod to work, or there's just something awkward with it. There were no other mods that were required for playthrough with this, so that is, that's new to me, but still usable for at least our testing purposes. And there we go, we can get 4 quick shot burst out of this thing, since it is the 2-shot burst receiver on there. And not too bad with that cookie muzzle brake. It actually does seem to, you know, help a little bit, but this thing still does have quite a bit of kick with this gun. But yeah, it certainly does seem to help a bit with that. Now, let me go and grab our other one, our suppressed one here. And thankfully, I did test this scope earlier. And we also do have a flashlight and laser on this thing, so you can see we've got both the little green dot there and a red dot. Very fun. But yeah, with the per shot damage without any perks that I could get with the R8, highest would be 73. But not too shabby there in the slightest. And that, of course, was with this particular one with the Pew suppressor on there. Not too bad at all. Very nice gun. Now let's take a look at the Gaus model, I think my favorite of them all. 126 max damage on this thing. And yeah, pay attention to either side of the hammer. You can see the texturing is a little bit different than it was when we were looking at the Pip-Boy. And there we go, I can charge it up and fire. And there we are, a 357 Magnum that is also a Gaus handgun, which is kind of nifty, and I really, really love this thing. I mean, the R8 pistol on its own is a pretty fun gun, but yeah, the addition of this Gaus model in here is just magnificent. You know, I forgot to spawn the Deathclaw before I went up the stairs to cheese it. There we go. Let's grab him out and take him down. Ooh, that didn't do nearly as much damage as I was hoping against him, but oh, there we go. Much better shot that time around. I actually got him in a softer spot than the first shot. Ooh, there we go. Okay, and we'll finish him off with the normal R8. We'll use the burst fire. There we are. Come back, please, Mr. Deathclaw. I'm going to use you with VATS and the burst shot. Let's see how this goes. Oh boy, I don't got the greatest of. There we go, much better. I mean, is it though? Is it much better? Oh boy, we don't got a lot of good stats here. You know, go over the head. Why not? That failed. And take that. And that, oh, I missed with all of those. All right, you know what? Let's get out the suppressed one. At least I have a scope that I can see through. There we go. And 73 damage. Should only take a couple of more shots to take him down, hopefully. Granted, we did do charged up Gaus shots earlier with the other one. But still, this should do the trick. There we go. He is down after using several different Smith & Wesson R8 revolvers. I have very much enjoyed my time with this mod. The R8 revolver on its own is already a fun gun. I do like the more modernized take on the Model 27. I think it's pretty cool. I might actually have to look into this gun in real life, see if I can find somewhere nearby to shoot one. I think it'd be kind of fun to do. But the addition of the Gaus one as well is very much a Fallout thing that I have very much enjoyed. So if you'd like to take a look at this mod for yourself, which I'd certainly recommend you go and do, you can have a look at the link in the description of the video as per usual. That's gonna be it for this one today. Hopefully you all have enjoyed, and you do come back for whatever mod we look at next. But until that time, thank you for watching as always. Well, have a good one.